Welcome to my super easy guide / tutorial on how to do the Vanny OOB any percent route. So let's start off by going new game. Once you have loaded in, your loading screen may look a little bit different than mine, but once you are about to start the run, spam E and then you will get out of Freddy. Once you are out of Freddy, you basically want to do a 180 and turn around and come to this Freddy head next to the window, and once you are here, you wait for that sound to play, and once that sound has concluded, or it's just about to conclude, you can jump and trigger Vanessa to spawn. And once she's spawned, you are given the next sort of objective of what to do. So take the Fazwatch from Freddy. And so you'll sprint over from here to Freddy and try and hold E as soon as possible, or stop as soon as possible to hold E, because it'll just make it a lot more quicker. Now once you have collected the Fazwatch, your next mission will update, and you want to run all the way over to this button and then press tab. Now when you first load in, it will all be static, and what you want to do is wait for it to switch over to the messages tab, and then you'll see this screen. And as soon as you see this screen, you'll click tab again and you'll be able to press the button, because it completes the objective of looking at the messages. So press E, then you want to turn and start sprinting through here. What I like to do is a sprint preservation, and if you do not know what a sprint preservation is, I will have a link in the description explaining it. It's a big importance of the run, so if you don't do it, you will lose a lot of time of not doing it. So yeah, you want to sprint preservation over here, over to here, and once you get to this fence, you want to flick right and then start sprinting this way. And then you want to jump when you get about here of the fence, so keep an eye of where you are at the fence, and sprint preservation onto these boxes just like this. And once you land, you want to spam sort of jump up these boxes. Make sure not to sprint while doing it, because you waste stamina, and stamina is the most important thing of the run, and if you don't have a lot of it, you waste a lot of time, because sprinting doesn't allow you to sprint more in the vent, and sprinting in the vent is way more important. But once you get in the vent, just follow it and take very sharp corners around the vent and get to the very end. Now that we are at the very end of the vent, when you fall out, you want to instantly press the crouch button, and when you hit the ground, you want to start sprinting, so just like this. And then start sprint preservation all the way over to this sort of stage over here with the wooden cutouts right here. You'll probably run out of sprint, so you can just walk through this section, but make sure to jump in between here. You can go around sort of this way, but it's a lot more slower, so you want to go in here. Make sure to not hit this, because this usually when you hit it, it will push you into here. So you sort of make sure to line yourself up with going into there, but you're not actually going into there, and jumping and then looking right, because touching this can mess up and make you go like that. So walk along this stage, and then you'll get your stamina back, start sprinting, and then once you reach sort of this door, make sure to crouch when going under it, and also sprint, because if you don't, you'll get stuck and you won't be able to sort of walk through. But once you get to it, sprint, crouch, uncrouch, and sprint jump all the way over to where the next skip is. Now let's talk about curtain clip. It's a very sort of difficult thing to do, but it's easy once you know what to do and how it works. But it's probably the biggest RNG part of the run as well. So for the setup, you want to sprint jump onto this table with all these boxes and bottles, and then jump over to this sort of fence guard, whatever it is, And then what you want to do is you want to flick right and then start spamming jump. And the way I do it for the setup is I look left and right, and start spamming spacebar and going up. It's the most consistent way I've got it to do it really fast. I don't know if there's any other setup, but it's the way I do it. So right now, just like that. Now once you're at the very top, I'm not going to jump yet, but once you get to the very top, everything will go dark. And then you want to look left, just like that. So when everything goes dark, look left while holding W, but not too far left, sort of diagonally, sort of like in this direction when you go over. So we'll get up, everything will go dark, we look left, and then we jump to here. And this side will load in. You'll see this side when you fall down, but if you're not quick enough, you probably won't see it. But make sure all of this loads in, and then you want to sprint all the way to the end. And then at the very end, the world will deload, so if you try and come back here, you'll fall down and kill the run. So what you basically want to do is you want to run past, sort of around this wall, look right, and then look left. Because there's a bit of collision that stops you from running. So I'll show you right now. Sprint, look right, look left, and then you will have it. Very easy. Make sure to not to go too slow, otherwise you get stuck in all this. And you've basically done curtain clip, and you'll just run all the way up here, and you'll be at the parkour section. Now time to talk about the hardest part of the speedrun, which is the parkour jumps. Now, when getting into it, I recommend pausing the game as you're about to land on the sandbags. So just like this, jump, pause, resume, and then land on the sandbags. Now, try not to do a jump that overshoots the sandbags and gets you on this wooden platform, because it screws you over and it's not fun. So when you jump, sort of turn to the right a little and then jump on this, and you'll land on the box, not the wooden sort of platform here. And then you'll jump again, and then jump again, and you'll land here. Now for this section of the parkour jumps, there's 3 ways of doing it: the easy way, the medium way, and the hard way. I'm going to show them all here. So to start off, the easiest way is doing it this way, where you jump over to this fence by using this fence. A good indicator is when you do it, you get raised up a little, and that's when you basically need to jump. So when doing it, you need to sprint and then jump over to that fence, but make sure you get raised up and then jump like that. Very simple, very easy. And if you get scared, just let go of the directional keys when you land here and line yourself up and follow it along. Very simple. Make sure for this next part, do not jump too early, otherwise you'll not make the jump over to this box. This box is where we need to jump to. You cannot jump to the forklift or the boxes there, because it's just too far. Now when doing it, what you need to do is when you run, you need to flick right and then jump there. Don't jump too early when flicking right, because you'll still get the momentum of going that way. So I'll show it right now. You want to sprint and then jump, and you'll land here. You will not fall in the box because there's no collision inside the box. And then once you land on this box, you will jump on this container, jump over to the scaffolding here, and then you'll jump over the fence. Now for the medium path, what you want to do is jump here, and then you want to look directly this way. And what you want to do is you want to jump off here to those pallets over there on that forklift. So when doing it, sprint, jump, and try and land in the middle of these, and then jump on them, because for some reason you can't walk in between them, but it makes it easier to land on the pallet when jumping to it. Make sure when you land on here and jump on here, do not fall in between here, because if you do, you get stuck and you can't move and you'll fall off. And now, once you are here. Jump on the forklift. You can't fall in between here, so you're completely fine. And like as the other path, where you land on the box, you just jump over the container, jump on the scaffolding, and then jump over the fence. Now time for the very difficult part of doing this section, which is the hard part. Now, what you want to do is jump on here, just like the medium, and instead of jumping from here over to those pallets, what you want to do is jump to that fence there. It is very difficult. I don't recommend doing it if you're just getting started or you're intermediate. I recommend doing this setup or this strat for high level runs, I guess, if that makes sense. So jump here, and how I like to time the jump is I like to do a sprint preservation in between here and all the way at the end of here, because it helps me time the jump. It's all about timing, so if you don't get it, then bad luck. So when doing it, you need to sprint preservation and then jump again, and you will land here. It's a good indicator of knowing when to jump, but you will land here, and all you need to do is just walk along it, jump to the container, and then jump to the scaffolding, and jump over the fence, and you've pretty much done the parkour section of the run. Now moving on to Fazblaster Skip, it's pretty easy. At first glance it looks hard, but to start off, you can just jump on this railing normally, or if you want to sprint for a second and jump, that's completely fine. And the way to line it up without guessing is just looking at that Neon Freddy sign over there, and then sprint jumping, and then you'll land up here. Now, the way to walk into the deload is from, this is probably the best area. Don't do it from here. This is a big mistake that a lot of people do, because the game loads in way too fast and you will not be able to make it to the door. The way I run into the deload is I try and get parallel with the door. I'll try and explain that while doing it in one take. But to line up where to go, where to jump into, is that light there at the very end. You want to jump into it and start sprinting over to this door, get parallel with it, jump, then you'll land here. Make sure not to go too far in that you will land in here and you'll get stuck, or don't pause the game at all too early, otherwise you get stuck in this pipe. Now for this next section of sort of the Fazblaster Skip. Now that you are here in this area, you have to fall down. Now a good indicator is this robot down here that will spawn. His path is the direction of where we need to go, which is all the way over there. Now, make sure to either walk off at the very edge of the platform, you can't see it, but walk off to where his position was just right there. Or you can jump off and you will fall down. Very simple, very easy. So you can just walk off. You'll land here. Now, for the loading in, you could either just pause the game and wait for everything to load in, or you could just figure out where to go and come down this way and go to the very end. And that's basically Fazblaster Skip. Now, at the very end segment of this game, it's pretty simple. It's the easiest part of the speedrun. But for this stairs area, I like to sprint preservation while jumping down them. It won't regen, but it'll save a lot of time than just running down and wasting more stamina. So sprint preservation down the stairs, and once you get here, you just start, sprint preservation again. Don't sprint preservation on these stairs, and don't do too tight corners, because for whatever reason, Gregory just gets stuck. You will not be able to go up. But don't sprint preservation up these stairs, just do it normally. Now for this very end section, this gate will be closed, so you need to open it, so get prepared to press E and take a tight corner. Now for this end section, you will need to sprint preservation the whole way. Make sure to look out for these pipes, because these pipes just knock you down. So try and make sort of a angle that's like this, so you get out of the way but not do too sharp of a corner. And if you don't know what sprint preservation is, there's a link in the description about it. Like I said at the beginning of the video, if you want to learn more about it, by Nuke. I might make one of my own that is explaining it in a bit more depth. But sprint preservation all the way to the end. Now that we are at the end, there's two ways of doing this. You could either run around the table, or you can jump on the table and go over and press it. I really don't know if it's faster to do either way, but if I'm recommending it, I'll just run around the table, because it's the easiest and you don't really get stuck sometimes. Like sometimes you just not make the jump on the table. But yeah, once you do that, you just press the button and you've basically done the full OOB and sort of any percent route of Vanny. Tutorial did help you, then just let me know in the comments. And if you have any different sort of questions that I didn't answer in this video when making the tutorial, then just let me know in the comments. But I hope this did help, and I'll see you guys in the next speedrun.